What's going on, people? Prosing Talk here, back again with a Hell in a Cell 2018 review. Now, I've got to say that Hell in a Cell 2018 just went off the air, and I'm going to say that I said this to some of my buddies on Facebook today, well, like during the show, and I've got to say, like, Hell in a Cell 2018 is probably going to be one of the best shows of the year, and I stand by that because you had a lot of good matches. Okay, the Alexa Bliss and Ronda Rousey match was a lackluster show, a lackluster match, but it is what it is. It's a Ronda Rousey match. You're not going to get much from that, so I'm happy with that anyway. So the first match of the night, we started off really hot with Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. In my opinion, this was one of the best Hell in a Cell matches I've seen in quite a while. Like these two guys did some great stuff in the ring. They have really good chemistry, and I think that they're going to continue this going into Survivor Series. What did I rate this match? Because I've actually this time I'm going to tell you guys the ratings of these matches I personally give them. So I'm rating them out of 5. So I rate every match out of 5. So that's kind of a new thing I'm doing with these reviews. So I'm going to give you my match ratings too. What did I rate that one? I rated it 4 out of 5. I thought it was a really good match. It really kicked off the show really well, and I couldn't fault it really. I just want to talk about some of the spots in the match. Jeff Hardy nearly kills himself, literally, by trying to do a splash. He has his hands on the cage and he falls down, and Randy Orton moves away from the table, and that's how the match ends. But you had one bit I want to talk about though is Randy Orton. Okay, whoever came up with this idea is a fucking awesome. It's good and creative, because Randy Orton is looking around for weapons, and he sees a screwdriver, and obviously Jeff Hardy has those earlobes or whatever they are, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna just whiz it round there and just clean out some dirt out there, and he's like wrenching it back, and I was like, oh my god, I was actually like cringing at some points or some of it, but I thought that is a great heel heat there. If you want to get heel heat, just do what Randy Orton did here tonight, and just do that with somebody's ear. But yeah, that was pretty good. And Jeff Hardy did a swanton, which on Randy Orton from a chair. And yeah, overall, this was probably the best Hell in a Cell match I've seen in quite a couple of years. I really enjoyed it. And then we had the Raw. No, it was the SmackDown Women's Championship. Sorry. It was Becky Lynch and Charlotte for the Women's Championship. They gave Becky and Charlotte a lot of good time here. I thought that the crowd was like jeweled. It was both getting cheered for and both getting a reaction for. I thought that the right person won with Becky getting the win with the disarmer. Becky is your new SmackDown Women's Champion, so I'm happy that finally they give it to Becky. So congrats to her on that. And then we had the Raw Tag Team titles. Oh yeah, I did rate that match 3.5 stars out of 5. So that's how I rated that one. I know people may maybe say was it a bit low, was it now, but I'm gonna say 3.5 stars out of 5 is good, because they're just coming off because I'm comparing that to the Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton match. So that was like the top at the start of the night, and then you go on to this, which was a really good match as well. So I'm just kind of like, they're like even at this point, but Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton was just a bit more, if you know what I mean. But yeah, they had a good match. And then we had the Raw Tag Team titles. It was Drew and Dolph defending against Seth and Dean, and these guys had a fucking awesome match. Again, another 4 out of 5 in my opinion. I really enjoyed this match. These 4 guys have chemistry. Just all around great performers. The one thing I do want to see WWE do after this Down Under show is they need to turn Dean Ambrose heel. That's my only criticism of Dean Ambrose. They need to turn the guy heel and make him like the top heel on one of the top heels on Raw, because since he's come back, I know it's been like a month only, but it feels like he's a lunatic cringe. I'm becoming a lunatic cringe again, if you know what I mean. I hope that doesn't go back to that character again, but I don't know. I really want to say heel Dean Ambrose because I know he was a heel on NXT and FCW, but we never seen a proper full-on heel Dean Ambrose. I know he did a bit in the Shield, but it was only for like a month, maybe 2 months. But we've never had a full-fledged Dean Ambrose heel turn, which I really think that at this point in his career, after having that babyface run for 4 years, he really needs that step up to be a top heel in the company. Him and Braun Strowman on Raw. And then we had what was next? Then we had then we had Joe and it was Miz and Maurice versus Bryan and Bray. See, I've got the whole thing mixed up here, so I kind of mixed it up from the Miz because I forgot about this Bray and Bryan match. So apologies about that. The Miz and Maurice and Bryan and Bray match. Now the match quality wasn't good, but entertainment wise, I was absolutely loving it. All four played their part very well. I'm gonna say it was a 2-star rating. I know I'm gonna rate it slow because I know people are gonna say, "Oh, why did you rate 2 out of 5?" But I think that wrestling-wise, it wasn't good, and entertainment-wise, I would rate it a 3. But wrestling-wise, I'm rating it a 2 out of 5. But wrestling-wise, it's a 2 out of 5, and a entertainment standpoint of things, it's gonna be a 3 out of 5. So yeah. And then we have Joe versus AJ. I like Joe versus AJ. It was a good match. I like the SummerSlam match better. But here they still had a good match, and it looks like they're going to continue this in that Down Under show and possibly go on to Survivor Series. But my only problem with it is I really wanted to see Joe finally win the belt. I like AJ. I'm a fan of him. I'm a fan of Joe as well, as you guys know. But I really wanted to see the guy right now who's the best promo cutter, in my opinion, in the WWE right now, who is Samoa Joe. He's the best promo worker in that company. I wanted to see him finally get rewarded for having so much good promos, and him for delivering for like the past year and a half. And I really wanted him to like have that moment of him being WWE champion, and obviously that's not going to happen now. But yeah, hopefully at that Down Under show they put a belt on him. But every time I say that, every time I hope that Joe's going to win the belt, they don't do it. So I'm not going to say it this time. After this, I'm not going to say Joe's going to win the belt. And maybe they'll do it. If I do reverse psychology, they'll probably do it. So that's that. So yeah, that was a good match though. I rated that 3 stars. 3 stars out of 5 because it was a solid, good match. I liked it, but I think at some points it lost. I don't know. It was kind of a bit slow in some parts. It wasn't better than the SummerSlam match. That's just my opinion. Then we have the main event of Braun and Roman for the Universal title. This was a good match as well. I think this was one of the best matches of the night. I know I said earlier Jeff and Randy kicked off the show really well, and I'm going to stand by that. But if you look at Braun and Roman, they ended the show really well. Now, I know people say it was a stupid ending. I even agree with it, kind of to a point. It was a kind of a crazy ending and shit, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. A lot of crazy spots, steel chair spots, Dolph and Rollins falling off the cell, Drew and Dean brawling on top of the cell, Brock kicking down the door, him F5ing Braun and Roman, and it ended as a no contest. And I know why they did this. I think it's because they're going to have a rematch at that Down on the show between Braun and Roman, and they want to keep Braun and they want to keep Roman strong. And then at some point, I don't think that they're going to take the belt off Roman just yet, because Roman has just recently won the belt, and I think Vince is thinking in his mind that give Roman the belt till maybe January, and then we can drop it to maybe a Dean Ambrose, a heel Dean Ambrose, and then he can run with it. He can run with it run with it to face maybe a Seth Rollins or whoever going into WrestleMania. That's how I think Vince should do it. Now, for me to book it and Vince to book it is two different things. Now, how I would book it is what I just told you there. How Vince would book it is way different. So you know, it is what it is. But I'm gonna rate that match 5 stars out of 5 because I thought it was a really good match. Um, and I know you're probably saying it was a bit high of a rating, but I thought it was a really good end to a main event. I know it was a bit crazy at the end, but apart from that, the match was really good, and I like the stories. The story throughout all of the match with like Dolph and Drew and Seth and Dean, and then you had Brock Lesnar come out, Paul Heyman with his little pepper spray, fucking awesome stuff. And yeah, that was WWE Hell in a Cell 2018. What do you guys think about the show? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I will check you guys later. Peace.